the House Ways and Means Committee released a report on former President Donald Trump's tax returns. What do you know?
What we know is that the originally when the House Ways and Means Committee launched this investigation, it said the reason was not punitive for Trump, but it was just so they could assess an IRS program that requires presidents be audited, and this stems from the Nixon days. And the general opinion a lot of people, me included, had was, okay, that's a good reason. You want Trump's taxes, you came up with that, sounds good. It turns out there was a problem with the IRS, and that they did not audit Trump's taxes his first 2 years in office. In fact, they did not begin to audit them until the same day that the committee requested copies of his returns back in 2019.
Why did the IRS not do this? Is this the fault of former President Trump or the IRS?
To be determined right now. I mean, the IRS is renowned for being understaffed. My friends over at ProPublica have done several articles talking about just the returns that American taxpayers could get if we invested in more IRS auditors. But Trump also did have the IRS for a significant part of his administration. So we really don't know the answer to that yet.
You had a timeline of the House Ways and Means Committee's journey to get these documents until 2020. Can you give us a brief walkthrough of that?
Yeah, sure. So the Democrats took control of the House in January 2019. So we are now almost 4 years later that they finally got these copies. And it was known up front that this was something they'd be searching for, but they requested them. Mnuchin refused. They subpoenaed. Mnuchin refused. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. The court said yes. There were many times, though, that the Democrats, specifically Richie Neal, the Democrat of Massachusetts who chairs the Ways and Means Committee, could have pushed this a little bit faster than he did. A lot of times he waited to file a subpoena, like Trump or the Treasury Department would miss a deadline, and he just, let's give him some more time. And that's part of the reason why we're here now, where the Democrats only have control of the House for a couple more weeks, and here we are getting the documents right now, and it's kind of a rush. Can they get them out? Because as soon as the Republicans take control, this investigation is going to stop.
And we also found out that Trump paid $0 in federal taxes in 2020. Do presidents usually pay taxes while in office?
Yeah, I mean, that would be on their salary. Donald Trump is a very different president than anybody we've had before. With all of his business interests, there are obviously several ways that can be interpreted, but with all of his large business interests, that does leave him the opportunity to get a lot of tax write-offs that weren't going to exist for, say Barack Obama, whose income was largely derived from being a politician and then book sales.
And why has he been so adamant for years that he didn't want his tax returns released to the public?
The general thought was that there was something in there that he wouldn't like coming out. And we learned a lot about what was in his taxes back in September 2020, where the New York Times had a blockbuster having obtained some of the documents we later learned from Mary Trump. And he probably didn't want it out there that there were a couple of years he paid nothing, or that he paid just $750 a few times. Trump has been very private with his finances, and when given the opportunity to keep things private and fight, he's done it all the way through his career, well before he was president.